Bring a talented team, which includes writers, directors, animators, set and prop makers, camera crews, and of course, puppet makers, who create, maintain, and repair the puppets. To see how stop-frame animation works, let's rewind this scene, which stars Timmy and features a red balloon. The director takes the writer's script and breaks down each scene of the episode into a series of shots. This shooting script then goes to the storyboard artist, who draws each shot of the scene on a digital storyboard tablet. For each scene, the director prepares a set plan, detailing the background elements, the puppet placement, and the camera angles. The storyboard artist sends his drawings to the editor, who works with the director to edit them into an animatic, a still drawing version of the episode. Actors, meanwhile, have recorded the dialogue in a sound studio. Now the editor cuts that dialogue into the animatic. The visuals and this soundtrack must be perfectly synchronized, because the animators will use this as a frame-by-frame guide for moving the puppets' bodies and lips. The show's animators refer to a large schedule board to see which scenes they've been assigned to animate. A printout of the animatic shows all the shots at a glance. In the art department, construction of the episode's costumes and props is well underway. To make a few red balloons, for example, the prop makers sculpt one out of modeling material and use it to produce a hard silicon mold. Then they pour quick-setting resin into the mold cavity. After the resin has hardened overnight, they open up the mold and extract the casting. They drill a hole in the bottom. Dab some glue inside. Then insert a small triangular peg, also made of quick-setting resin. This forms the tied bottom end of the balloon. Now a coat of grey primer. Then once it dries, red paint. When the paint dries, they drill another tiny hole at the base of the balloon and insert a strand of flexible copper wire wrapped in cotton thread. This is the balloon string. The team of animators shoot several scenes concurrently, so in the puppet department, model makers produce more than one puppet for each character. Certain body parts, such as hands and wings, are made of silicon, with a wire skeleton within. After forming the wire to shape and applying a base coat of silicon, the puppet maker lays it in a two-part mold, then fills both cavities with silicon. She closes the mold, clamps it tightly shut, and leaves the silicon to set overnight. The flexible wire skeleton at the core enables the animator to manipulate that part of the puppet. Timmy's torso is a polyurethane foam core dressed in a wool coat. It has channels for interchangeable wires, which support his head and arms. His head is made of resin, his arms silicon over a wire skeleton. Timmy and his friends' faces can express a wide range of emotions thanks to interchangeable mouths, flexible ears, and blinks, an assortment of exchangeable eyelids. These convey expressions from wide-eyed to cockeyed. These facial features attach either magnetically or with tacky wax, a flexible, quick-release glue. The puppet maintenance team packs each character and its parts in a travel box, then sends it to the animator on the studio floor. During shooting, the animator changes the facial expressions as required. Their work requires great technical skill. The animators, under the director's guidance, bring the puppets to life. The puppet's legs must be sturdy enough to support the weight of the upper body, so the leg skeleton is made of metal rods connected with a ball and socket joint. The feet are metal plates, hinged to allow movement. Just like the flexible wire skeletons, this metal skeleton also goes into a mold to be encased in silicon. The arms attach with square-section brass tubes, so they can be easily changed with an Allen key. Certain puppet movements require rigging. A rig is a device which enables animators to raise the puppet off the floor of the set to perform jumping and skipping. The animator can incrementally lift or lower the rig to any height and lock it there. There are many preparations before shooting begins, such as lighting, puppet positioning, and set dressing. Using the animatic playing on a monitor as a reference, the director and camera operator frame the shot. Meanwhile, the set dressers prepare the next set, gathering whatever scenic objects they need from the set dressing kit. To create these objects, artists first sculpt the shapes out of modelling material. They create a mould from which they'll produce copies in fiberglass or quick-setting resin. Then they paint the copies. With the set dressed and approved, the animator can begin. With great care, referring to the animatic, he positions the rigged puppet. Then, with the push of a button, he shoots a frame, or in animation lingo, grabs the frame. Next, he moves the puppet incrementally and makes slight changes to body positioning, and grabs another frame. 25 consecutive frames equal 1 second of animation. The animator's art is knowing how, and by how much, to move the puppet to create lifelike movement. To get special close-up facial shots, they'll later intercut with a full body sequence. They sometimes set the puppet on a rig positioned directly in front of the camera. Once they've shot the animation, they take what's called a plate, a shot of the set, with puppets, props and rigs removed. They'll send the plate digitally to the editing suite, where the editor uses the visuals to cover up the rig, essentially erasing it from view. This process is called compositing, a little bit of behind-the-scenes artistry to create a whole lot of on-screen magic. So if prying eyes for you are a pain and you don't want to be seen, get some pattern glass. Or if you're rocking all over the world, make sure you've packed properly, just in case.